Today what we're going to do is take the loop through South Mountain Park. One of the best mountain bike parks anywhere that I'm aware of. I'm a new rider in this world. I've spent my life on two wheels, motorcycles, but never really bicycles. That's not been, my forte. So if you hear me huffing and puffing, there's going to be a good reason for it. Because basically, this is about the second ride on this bike, and I bought a specialized 2024 Turbo Levo comp alloy, and I wanted the biggest battery and the biggest motor. And why would you say? Because I'm a little older. I'm not your younger rider. I'm your older rider. But to be able to take advantage of the trails in South Mountain Park right by my house, and you just saw that I popped out.
Thank you.
There. Now, if I do ride any other bikes, which I hopefully in the future will be able to test drive a lot of different bikes, I own this specific bike. I bought it from Bike Masters. They took care of me. I like the fact that there was maintenance and service local. If I had a problem with the bike, which I hope I do not, but I decided I wanted to buy local. And for my first real mountain bike, e-bike mountain bike, I wanted one that I knew had a good reputation in the market. Not that there's not a ton more of these great e-bikes out there, especially in today's market, but as an older rider, so I'm going to cut my teeth on this one, and I'm going to get going. I figure if I ride every night for a while, it shouldn't take long, then I'll feel comfortable in the saddle. There's some things that already I have a lot of pressure on the handlebars right now, and we tried to alleviate that by raising the bar, not only the bar but the bars, and it felt a little better, but I'm going to have to get a bar with more of a motorcycle style, because I guess that's what I'm used to and that's where I'm comfortable. What a horrible time for me to do this. I wanted golden hour, but man, the difficulty in seeing was unbelievable. The first thing I want you to notice is that, man, this bike is very powerful and it's very comfortable. This is a $7,000 list bike. If I say motorcycle, I'm just used to it. I'm sorry about that. But what a bunch of power. The power on this thing was unbelievable. It really was. And the suspension is excellent. And I'm not the master of these bikes. Hopefully one day I will be. One thing I do is I really love the fact that if you'll notice the guy I passed on the road riding a regular bike, you'll see him come up here and you'll hear me huffing and puffing. You still get exercise if you're not used to these bikes, but you go so much farther, and that's what the fun of it is. And there's not any hill so far that I haven't been able to work my way up. Now, I'm sure there will be. My skill set won't be as good as it should be. But this will be the loop that I take on any bikes that I do ride. Now, Specialized, I like the name of the market. I like the fact that I had service locally. I dealt with two other bike shops, and they were awesome. They really were. I just thought the Specialized was going to be the bike that I wanted to get started on my journey. I feel very fortunate I was able to start on a bike of this caliber, and but you're going to see me hopefully on a ton of bikes. I will give you my honest opinion on everything, that from accessories that I put on here, and if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. I'm going to try not to beat them up, but you know what? If I'm not happy, I'm not happy. I did test ride a 29er, and it was awesome as well. The mullet with the 29 and 27 and a half in the rear definitely handles better for me. But if I like going down these trails like this one here, I love being on a 29er. They're just so fast. And that's what's cool to do, is get out here by myself and just take off. The sun, I'm going to turn the corner down here coming up, and the sun will go away. But so first impressions, the quality of the build. Specialized builds a quality bike. Not just the components, because the components could be of a bunch of different manufacturers. But I felt very comfortable. The resale value on used Specialized seemed to be higher than most. And also the fact that you could get local. You could buy some Chinese bikes for a lot less money. And if you're not riding heavy
Thank
stuff,
you,
they're
appreciate
probably
it.
okay if you're riding on the street. But the reality is the beatings that these bikes take on these trails is absolutely unbelievable. And they handle unreal. As soon as I make this right up here, we'll get out of the sun. I'm going to go down through the ditch and then take a right and then come back up, hit this trail. But you will see the distance that I have gone from where that gentleman I passed on the road was. I went left at the intersection, he went right. And you'll see the distance that I am riding, and it is mind-blowing. If I've done anything so far, I have probably sold a e-bike to that guy right there, because it isn't like you don't get exercise. You get as much exercise as you want. You push that button on the dash, and you decide how hard you want to work. But man, the distance that I can travel is just phenomenal. And so what I'm going to do is ride the whole video out, and this will be the trail that I take. I'm going to make this the trail that I test on. I've said that now 3 times, but so you'll know. And you'll see how each bike works through each one of these. And I was thoroughly impressed with this bike. And, you know, consider I'm not a bike rider. And again, you know, and there is a difference between riding motorcycles and riding bikes. And I was impressed with the fact that of the speed I could travel on this bike and how easy and unforgiving it was and how good the suspension was. You know, my shifting is going to definitely need some work. There's a couple times that I miss shifts that and hitting pedals. You know, that's one of the things too. You know, before you buy a nice set of aluminum pedals and you spend $100 to $175, realize that you're going to knock the hell out of them, especially when you're a new rider. I think once you get to riding, I believe that I'll have my feet in the right position and it will be a lot better. But for the first time, you know, you're going to have pedal strikes. It's just going to happen. And the trails in South Mountain are absolutely unbelievable. And this would be considered a mid-range bike. I would be comfortable buying actually a lower end Specialized, to be honest with you. This one, because of the price reductions that are out there in most of the bike market right now, you can get them for basically what I consider to be a mid-level price. And the componentry on here, this is a bike that's going to take me a while to outride the components. And, you know, a lot of mine is just getting used to when to shift, how to shift. My philosophy is run turbo all the time, full battery, full blast. That's how I want to ride. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to put it on eco and just ride, because I'm not a bike rider that is going into a e-bike. I'm a motorcyclist that's coming down to a bike, and I do not want to pedal like you would on a regular bike. And I like how look at the speed that I'm driving at, and I am not a skilled rider when it comes to mountain bikes. And I never got off this bike. There's a couple of times up here coming up this hill, I was in the wrong gear. Now, what I've learned about this bike for me is that it likes to be, there we are, struggling a little bit, but it never stopped. It likes to be high RPM revving, kind of, in a sense. It likes to be spinning hard for the turbo to kick in. And I say turbo only because it's called a turbo. It does not have a turbo. It feels like it, though, sometimes. And so these trails, I'm an amateur right now at this level of my riding, and look at what I can do on this bike. I mean, everybody ought to have one of these. The only problem with South Mountain Park is that you do not want to fall off this bike. So you want to go at the speed you're comfortable on, because the last thing that you want to do is fall off on South Mountain, because you're going to get scraped up. You're going to fall down. If you fall down hiking, you're going to get scraped up. So if you come through this wash here, there's another little tricky section right down here where you kind of bounce a little bit before you come out, and then you start to loop back home. And you'll see the distance I have traveled when I catch this guy riding the bike coming the other way. He's about a third. So he's traveled about a third. So that's what you can, you know, and he was moving, but we're going to catch him right down here, and I would estimate that's a third. a third of what I've went. I've went 2/3 and he's went a third. So that's kind of the difference. If you wondered how, what is it compared to a regular bike, other than, the other side of the coin is if you want to struggle, you can struggle on this bike. All you got to do is turn the power down, and then if you need to get home, you have that reservoir to be able to get home without killing yourself. And again, I'm not a bike rider going up to a mountain bike rider going up to it. There he is right there. He's a great guy though, man. He even stopped for me. He shouldn't have. I should have stopped for him.
Thank you, man. Have a great ride.
Man, I guarantee you he looked at that bike and went, I think I need a Specialized. I think I need to get an e-bike. Because when you actually see the difference, and he knew which way I took, and he didn't realize that I even took a longer loop than what the normal guy would take, or I would have caught him way down here. But that's the great thing about an e-bike. It can make anybody be able to be a proficient rider power-wise. And so, this is, like I said, look how beautiful the desert is. This is desert. This is the desert in the winter here in Phoenix, Arizona, the South Mountain Park. And like I said, it's a spectacular place. I even run into that gal that had the dog coming up here, and it's just amazing the distance I have traveled on this bike, and I keep saying that. Bike's, I think, 52 pounds, a little over 51 pounds. It's not light, but then again, that's to a bike guy. To a motorcycle guy, it's unbelievably light. But the suspension, we still haven't got, I'm going to have to get a set of bars with an arch in it, because that was definitely not enough, but it got better. It was definitely better as far as the outsides of my hands becoming numb. But we'll get it there. Coming through this place right here, I'll tell you, I couldn't be more pleased with the bike. I really couldn't be. And as long as it does, again, what it does. Now, I'll have a bike to do extended loan service on, as far as be able to go back in after I've had this for a while, because this bike's going to get a lot of miles on it. It's going to get ridden, and it's also going to get tuned. We're going to do things to it. I'm going to upgrade the suspension. Even though the suspension is excellent, I will upgrade the suspension. Any of the companies out there that are wanting to jump on board of us and put their stuff on our bikes, because hopefully we'll build this thing into a channel that really goes. And I tell you what, I'm going to just stop the talking here and let you finish the ride out. But definitely, if you're in the market for an e-bike, definitely. Man, look how much fun this is. I mean, if you don't catch anything on this deal, it's way too much fun. So it's an e-bike world. Here we go.
Thank you. Ooh, close. Don't leave your pedal up.